through the days. We're high in the court, the diamond in the lane. Variety topics living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. Sport all plays, they work in your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.
Well, all right, folks. How's everybody doing this evening? Gonzo, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, brother. How you doing this evening? I'm doing good, right?
Man, you know, I really can't complain because since my video comes back, March Madness isn't going on right now. We got the little 2-day break between the final 32 and the Sweet 16. So I've been kind of seeing some, I've been watching some of the free agency up things and kind of watch some of the baseball spring training. Obviously, our Astros aren't playing their starters. So for the Astros, it's very, very boring, Gonzo. It's like watching paint dry because we got all of our like AAA prospects pretty much absorbing most of it. Have you been keeping up with the minor league baseball situation?
I've been watching a little bit of the spring training. I haven't been watching a whole lot of it. But once opening day starts, I watch about every Cincinnati Reds game.
Yeah, I like seeing how these Yankees are, Frankie the Yankee always talks about his Yankees, and I guess how they got Izzo, and they've been getting kind of a couple players here and there, and so he's all excited about it, thinking that they're going to do something major. I keep telling him, I said, you got a $100 billion payroll. I'm exaggerating. It's probably like $107 million payroll. But, yeah, you guys are going to come away with squad. I really think there's a lot of teams out there that improved quite a bit, honestly, in the AL that are going to give a lot of fits. I think the A's obviously just pretty much, bargain loaded all of their prospects out. So I don't really expect much on the A's side. I think the Astros will win the division just because there's nobody really in our division now outside of the A's, which is now kind of, like I said, pretty much decimated the roster. So I don't expect any opposition going into the playoffs from the Astros side of it. But I think that the Braves are going to be really good. And I'll tell you, Boston picked up a couple of people. I think Boston's going to be really good. I think they picked up Trevor Story, which they're going to put him at second base instead of shortstop. So that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. I think it'll be
he's fine. A good bat.
Yeah, he is a good bat. And I think it was Bogarts was saying, man, if he could play shortstop, he could pretty much play any other position. So
yeah,
I don't think it's going to. I think it's going to be beneficial for the whole team as a whole, like you said, to get that bat in there. So the Yankees, they're going to have their hands full. If they think they're just going to go out there and do something, they're going to have – I think their whole division is going to give them fits.
And you can't forget about the Tampa Bay Rays. They don't always have the big-name stars, but they seem to always be right there in the postseason almost every year, it seems like.
Yeah, and we're going to get into more of that as the show moves along, because there is actually a topic that's going to talk about small market baseball and how can they grow. And so that will actually kind of fit right into that. So we'll get more into that in a minute. We're going to go ahead and get this bad boy rolling while we wait on our boy Logan Landers to join us. Topic number one is pretty much my favorite topic because of what's going on right now with March Madness. So as you can see in the picture, we're going to talk a little bit about the recap, the round of 32 that just basically took place over the weekend, and then we're going to break down the Sweet 16 teams, which I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Gonzo, I think it's Wednesday and Thursday, correct?
Thursday and Friday.
Oh, it's a Thursday? Okay, Thursday and Friday. I stand corrected.
Yeah, they'll play Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday again this week. Yeah,
exactly. So that should encompass the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8, correct?
Yep.
So then we'll have to wait for the following week to get the Final Four, and of course, moving on into the championship game.
They'll play like the next Saturday for the Final Four, and then usually that Monday is the championship.
Right. Okay, so let's look at I'm not going to go through all of the games, but we're just going to pick out some of what I consider to be some of the more interesting games. Gonzaga is one. I think Gonzaga is obviously one of the best teams, if not the best team right now, quote unquote, in the tournament. And I'll tell you what, Gonzo, I don't know what you thought about that Memphis, but I thought Memphis played Gonzaga really tough, even to the point where I thought they were going to actually beat Gonzaga.
Yeah. Gonzaga's had a couple tough games in the tournament. I mean, even their first game, they ended up blowing them out, but for about 3/4 of that game, they were playing right with Gonzaga. I think it was North Texas, maybe, or something. But and then, like you said, who did you say Gonzaga played?
Yeah, Gonzaga was playing Memphis.
Yeah, and then Memphis gave them a tough game as well. I thought Memphis was going to win that game. There was a lot of good games over the weekend, man. I was telling my dad earlier before I got on here that I wish it was Thursday because I'm missing college basketball after watching so much over the weekend.
Well, and that's the thing, Gonzo. If you look at the first half of that game, Memphis was up by 10. It was 41-31 going into the second half at a halftime. I mean, that's how hot Memphis was. And then you look at it, and you look at the second quarter, and they didn't really cool off a whole lot, but Gonzaga pretty much woke up, and Gonzaga outscored them 51-37, and basically took the win 82-78. They only won by 4. Yeah. And the biggest reason why they won that game was Timmy. Timmy went out there and put up about 25 points and 14 rebounds.
Man, Timmy
just had a hell of a game.
His footwork is amazing.
Absolutely, it is. Absolutely. Logan.
It was like he could score whenever he wanted.
Oh, yeah, he was doing whatever he wanted. It was insane. I mean, the second half, Timmy just woke up.
It seems like
Logan. We're talking about Gonzaga and Memphis. That hell of a game by Timmy in the second half of it, but the hell of a first half that Memphis put up to the point where I actually thought Memphis was going to win that game.
Yeah, I mean, Memphis could have legitimately won that game because, I mean, they are a good program led, of course, by Penny Hardaway, of course. And, I mean, they got some good guys. They got some good players on their team, man. But I thought I picked Gonzaga to win. I knew that Timmy or Holmgren, 1 of the two, was going to have a good game. And turned out, like you said, it was Timmy. And there's a reason that people are saying that he's going to be a high draft pick when he probably declares this upcoming offseason. And, I mean, Gonzaga, really good team for the past couple of seasons. Not surprised to see them go into the Sweet 16. We'll see how much further they can make it.
Absolutely. Like I said, man, that Memphis team, though, really showed me a lot of grit. And I tell you, they would have pulled that out.
Next year, I think if they get a good bit of their pieces back, and keep adding on, they could definitely be a Sweet 16 team next year.
Hardaway's definitely turning that team around.
He has.
And he absolutely has. And that's the value of a good coach and good leadership skills that Penny brought away from the NBA into the college realm. And I'll tell you this, had Memphis won that game, sweet 8-pound, 6-ounce baby Jesus won that game. I mean, that would have been – could you imagine all the brackets that would have been busted at that point?
If they're not already, Jay, I see a certain Peacock in there who's doing that for everyone.
I think.
Absolutely. And we're definitely going to get into the Peacock here in a minute. But you're right. St. Peter's is just doing amazing things. Honestly, the next game I want to take a look. Go ahead.
I think that Gonzaga, if they're going to win this tournament, they're going to have to get off to faster starts. They have not played good at all either game in the first half. Yeah,
absolutely. And like I said, this
I can come back to bite you. You get in the Final Four against when you get one of them defensive struggle games, I can come back to bite you if you get off to a slow start.
Especially in this crop of games or this crop of teams, because let's be honest, there wasn't really a whole lot of blowouts. There was a lot of super close games. I mean, even Creighton and Kansas was only a 7-point difference.
Like I said, I picked Creighton to win the Big Ten tournament. They didn't do that, but I mean, they put up a really good fight.
Bro, they took Kansas to the limit. I mean, they really did. What they did against Kansas, I thought was pretty notable. But Kansas, obviously, one of the few number ones that actually made it to the Sweet 16. Clearly, Baylor didn't make it.
Mm-hmm.
Man, like we said earlier, coming off that momentum of the Duke game and so forth, going into the tournament. They just brought that same momentum against Baylor. And let's be honest, nothing against Baylor, because Baylor was down by over 20 some odd points going into halftime. and they come out and they get it back to within just a few. I think, matter of fact, they took them into overtime. They tied
it at one. Didn't they tie it?
Yeah, they took them into overtime, and North Carolina outscored them 13-6 in overtime, and then of course went on to take the game.
I was listening to it on the radio on my way to that wrestling show, and there was like 30 seconds left or something. It was the last thing I'd heard, and then I remember seeing the final score, but I knew they had tied it. I was like, damn, they're going, because that was going to be like one of the biggest comebacks in tournament history.
Oh, absolutely it was. And I really thought Baylor was going to pull that out. I really honestly did. And it's sad because they were last year's champions. And for them to get knocked out in 32 and not even at least make it to the Final Four or even the Elite Eight, I thought for Baylor was just horrible for them, in terms of, where they finished last year. And then, of course, to go out in 32 this year, I mean, to me, that was just – I expected more out of them. I really just did. And I think, like you said, to your point, Gonzo, the fact that they came out so slow against North Carolina and went down by 20-something going into half clearly spoke volumes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Logan, how you feel about that?
I mean, you also look real nice, right? I mean, the defending champs, I thought they were going to go further. I thought they'd at least get to the Sweet 16, but to get knocked out in the round 32?
Yeah.
Disappointment.
Oh, it was a huge, in my mind, it was a huge disappointment, especially a guy from Texas. I take pride in all the Texas. I'm a University of Texas guy by heart, but I'm a typical Texan. I like all Texan teams, and I hate to see any Texan team get knocked out. And
at least you got the Red Raiders in there still, man.
Hey, we still got Houston in there. Why do people always want to go to the Red Raiders? Why can't you say Houston, Logan?
That's the first logo I saw, bottom left.
But in all honesty, I think Houston is so overlooked, it's ridiculous. And I think Houston's going to prove a lot of people wrong, man.
Or Mike did that intentionally, Jay, to get you fired up for that nice segue there. Good job.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? Hey, damn. So then we got Michigan, Tennessee. Holy crap. Did anybody see Michigan beating Tennessee? I was not one of those.
I thought Michigan was going to go, I thought Tennessee's probably going to go to the Final Four at minimum because they have probably one of the best defenses in the country.
Oh, I was surprised Michigan made the tournament. To be honest with you, but, hey, they're playing good. They're playing their best at the right time. Howard hasn't peaking at the right time because
they got hot.
I watched them a lot in the Big Ten, and I didn't expect this at all.
Yeah, because to take them out, honest, that was a huge – I mean, Tennessee, they started out okay. They went up 37-32 in the first half. So they went into the half by 5. But I don't know what happened between the first half and the second half, but something in that locker room changed because then they got drummed by 44-31 to ultimately lose that game. So something happened. I don't know what they said in the locker room at Michigan. I don't know if Juwan Howard went there and started beating up players or what. They came out and played pretty damn good. Everybody's catching that segue to Juwan Howard. Okay. Hey, but then you got St. Mary's losing to UCLA. That was a hell of a blowout. That's probably one of the few blowouts I think of the one was that particular one. And I think the other one was Providence over Richmond, but nobody really expected Richmond to really do anything against Providence.
Well, UCLA didn't look good at all the game before that. Then they came out and just blew St. Mary's out. I mean,
so either St. Mary's versus playing terrible or UCLA stepped up their game.
I think UCLA stepped up their game.
It was 36-29 in the first half, UCLA. And then St. Mary's kind of woke up and said, okay, we'll go 36-27 in the second half. But, yeah, man, those dudes just UCLA just put it on them, man. And unfortunately, St. Mary's just could not answer back. And then we go ahead.
I said they couldn't that game, but they definitely did against my Hoosiers the other day.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, Indiana just had a rough, honestly. But then you look, the New Mexico-Arkansas game, and that was such a low-scoring game. It was ridiculous. It was only 53-48. And Arkansas just barely escaped number 12, New Mexico. And I think, like you said earlier, Gonzo, if Arkansas at number 4 comes out and plays slow like that in the Sweet 16, I think Arkansas gets blown out, and we'll talk more about that in the preview section. But they obviously cannot come out and play it, like you said, Gonzo, at that slow tempo and expect to do anything. And then the last one, St. Peter's and Murray State. St. Peter's, man, beat them out by 10. Does anybody here have St. Peter's being the spoiler going into the Sweet 16?
Oh man, I don't know, Jake. 'Cause I picked Murray State last time we did these. The Peacocks keep shocking me, but usually, Jay, what do we see? The Cinderella teams get to the elite, right?
Right.
Sweet 16, the Elite 8, and that's when they get knocked out. I think this is it. The Peacocks are done flying. I think it's over for them this round.
Show of hands. Who the hell thought Miami was going to beat Auburn? I mean, seriously. Hey, listen, what happened to Auburn?
Number 2 seed, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't get to see the game, but from the highlights I saw, Auburn didn't shoot the ball very well at all.
No, they didn't. They absolutely did not shoot the ball very well. I just can't believe that Miami just came in and spoiled Auburn's day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of curious now to see what Auburn or what Miami does in the Sweet 16. Then, of course, you had Michigan State losing to Duke. I think Duke is on. Duke kind of came into the tournament kind of on a slumber note, right? They lost to North Carolina. I think they lost another game after North Carolina. I can't remember who it was offhand they lost to, but
Virginia Tech. Yeah,
Virginia Tech. So they didn't actually go into the tournament on the highest of notes. But man, that team is rallied around Coach K.
I'm about to say they know this is his last trip. They want to make the most of it. And I know you said they kind of stumbled into the tournament as opposed to skyrocket. But, you can throw all the regular season stuff out the window because it's the postseason now, right? And they are one of the top 16 teams in the country, and they might very well be keep going.
Oh, absolutely. And that's why I feel like Duke, because of that, spark, that electricity, that competitive nature now that they've built up around Coach K, I would not be surprised if Duke just does some amazing things going out the rest of this tournament. We'll see. But I think Duke is going to be one to watch, and I think it's going to be a special one to watch, obviously, because every game could potentially be Coach K's last game. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. We talked about Villanova. Villanova beat Ohio State 71-61. To me, that was just an average, typical game for them. Yeah. Nothing spectacular. Number 2 versus number 7. Arizona, TCU. I thought TCU played Arizona pretty good. They lost by 5, but I thought TCU played them exceptionally well, exceptionally tough on the boards and in shooting. Anybody have anything I want to say about TCU over Arizona, or Arizona over TCU? I mean,
TCU surprised me taking Arizona to overtime.
Yeah, I
have Arizona was the team I picked to win the tournament, and I thought TCU was going to beat them.
Absolutely. That's another game where I thought, just like with Memphis over Gonzaga, I really thought TCU might have had that same shot.
No doubt. They could have definitely done it.
One thing that's also affected some games is the referees. Yeah,
some of the refs ain't been that good.
There's been some terrible calls in the last 2 minutes of games that really have really affected games.
What was the game, Chris, if you remember? It happened here tonight, where one of the players got a dunk and held on for a second, but it wasn't to showboat. It was to get his momentum back on the court, and they call it technical. It was Illinois.
Yeah, Illinois.
It's like, dude, come on.
Yeah, that's the one that Houston beat. Houston beat Illinois 68-53. That was that game.
Right. But I mean, there's always going to be some refs that make bad calls, but I mean, they haven't been banged up this tournament. I think we can all agree.
Right. Hey, what do you think about Wisconsin, number 5, losing to Iowa State at number 11, and with a close game that was 54-49.
If Wisconsin could ever get consistent scoring, they'd be tougher than hell because they have good defense.
Right.
They've always had good defense. Even back in the day when they had Sam Decker, they had good defense.
Yeah.
But yeah, Iowa State was just a little bit too much for Wisconsin Badgers to take up against. And then, of course, we talked about the Houston game. Texas Tech over Notre Dame. That was a nail biter.
Yeah.
I was rooting.
That was the
I'm
nail
an
biter.
IU fan, but I'm like you. I root for other Indiana teams when IU gets put out. So I was hoping Notre Dame would win that game. Hey, Notre Dame was in a couple great games to watch.
Yeah, they were.
Because that
Fighting Irish really did fight.
That first 4 game that they played against Rutgers that went into 2 overtimes or whatever, that was a heck of a game.
Absolutely.
And then like you said, this game, the game they just lost was a real good game as well.
Yeah, it was. It like I said, if anybody watched that Notre Dame Texas Tech game, y'all were biting your nails because you didn't know who was going to win that thing. It was just really that close. And then of course the game that wasn't close, which obviously this is my team, Texas, and we got burnt by Purdue, 81-71. Texas tried to make it a good game, but it just didn't happen for them. They kept it close, 36-30 in the first, and then 45-41 in the second. Of course, Purdue won both quarters. Marcus Carr, he put up 23. Travion Williams put up 22. Texas did everything they could, but they just could not hang with Purdue. Purdue just came out and played really, really good, tough defensive basketball, and they shot the ball well. And just at the end of the day, took my boys out, Logan.
Yep. It is what it is, man.
It is what it is.
I hate to say it because Purdue is our big rival, but if Purdue don't turn the ball over,
yeah,
they're tough to beat because they got them 2 big men down low, and then that Ivy can do Ivy can score about any way he wants to. It's just turnovers that's what beat them in the Big Ten championship game.
Mm-hmm.
They take care of the ball. I can see them going to the Final Four.
And Joe, we got some comments from our boy John Suggs chiming in. He said, "Go Heels," but the team that has shocked me all year is Arkansas. Yeah, I mean, Arkansas shocked us in college football, right? I mean, they were a top 10 team at one point in the SEC. I mean, so yeah, Arkansas made it to the 16. Who would you give Coach of the Year? In my opinion, it would be Hubert Davis or Juwan Howard because of how the team started. He said, or would even say Iowa State Coach of the Year from turning his team around from last year with a record of 2-22. It might.
Yeah, I like Hubert Davis. I like Hubert. I don't think it's Juwan Howard either, but I like Hubert Davis.
I feel like they're all going to get some votes, but I feel like they're going to give it to either Howard or Davis just because they're the bigger school, obviously. But yeah, I mean, especially with Iowa State, man, they went 2-22 last year. I didn't know that. And then now they're one of the top 16 teams in the country. That's pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, I think you almost kind of have to give it to them just because, like you said, of that turnaround. I mean, that's a hell of a turnaround from one year to the next. And they're still in it. They're not even done yet, so there's no telling how far they're going to go.
I think that's who should get it is the coach from Iowa State, but I agree it's going to either be Davis or Howard because the media, you get whatever they put, the narrative they push, and it's going to be one of the bigger schools. They're going to push more than they are for the Iowa State. So I think the Iowa State coach, if you have that kind of turnaround in one season, I mean that's pretty amazing.
All right, folks. This is the next half we're going to do. We're just going to on the Sweet 16s. We're just going to pick our teams, pick who we think is going to win, and we're going to start off with the first 4 games on Thursday. Arkansas and Gonzaga. I'm definitely taking Gonzaga just because of the slow start that Arkansas put up against New Mexico State. I think Gonzaga is not going to – if you come up against Gonzaga like that, they're just going to destroy you. And I think exactly that's what's going to happen. I think Arkansas gets destroyed by Gonzaga. Gonzo, what do you got?
I have Gonzaga. I don't think Arkansas is going to have anybody that's going to be able to stop Timmy. I think he's going to have another big game, and I like Gonzaga. I just hope Gonzaga don't get off to a slow start as well because they have.
Yeah.
You get off to a slow start and you let a team hang around. I mean,
that's true. That's always a good possibility. Logan?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Gonzaga getting the win in this one. I just think the star power is going to be a little bit too much for them, but I think it'll be a pretty good game, though. But I do got Gonzaga getting the win.
Okay, then we move on to Michigan and Villanova. And like I said, Michigan's been playing really well. Nobody expected Michigan to beat, I believe it was Tennessee. But I think Villanova comes up and does something special here. I'm going to take Villanova. No, damn. You know what? My heart says, or my brain says Villanova. My heart says, I'm going to go with Michigan on this one just because I feel like this Michigan, what they did against Tennessee, if they can do it against same exact game against Villanova, I think they take Villanova. Gonzo?
I'm going with Michigan on this one as well. Mainly because I think they're just playing. They're playing their best ball at the right time, and I don't know why it took them so long in the season to start playing this way, but they're doing it at the right time. Plus, I like the Big Ten, so I root for the Big Ten. So I'm gonna go with Michigan.
Okay, Logan.
Going out the beaten path, I'm gonna go Nova pulling out, get the win. Now, John Suggs got Zaga, Nova, and then we'll leave that up there while we give our picks for the next game.
Yeah, so the next one we got Texas Tech and Duke. Now, I think talent-wise, I think Texas Tech has it. But, there's a lot of things that can go above and beyond talent. And I think the will and desire to win can go much higher. And I'm going to take Duke. I just think Duke is on a special journey right now. And I think Duke pulls it out. And I hate to say that because, like I said, I hate to see Texas teams get kicked out. But at the same time, I just feel like this is Duke's year. And I think Duke makes it to the Final Four at this point. I don't know why I feel like that way, but I feel like they make it to the Final Four. I might be wrong, but I'm going to pick Duke over Texas Tech. Gonzo?
I'm going to go with Texas Tech in this game. I think their defense is going to be able to slow Duke down a little bit and get it into a pace that Texas Tech likes. I'm going to go with Texas Tech in this game.
Logan?
I'm going to go with Duke, Jay, because like we'd mentioned last week, Duke's kind of feeling like that Coach Carter team. Am I right?
Yeah. Rich what? Rich Bird.
Because I say that. Because in the movie, right, I know it's a different scenario, but you got all the players rallying around the coach. Our grades might not be that good, but we can be some good ball players. I think Duke's going to keep it going and move on to the Elite Eight.
And that's kind of the way I see it as well. I see it in that same light. I just feel like this is just a special season for Duke, man. I just feel like what Duke is doing this year, I don't know, man. It was almost like defeating all odds. And I'm pulling for Duke unless they play Houston. And then, of course, I'm going to go the opposite way. But as a matter of fact, speaking of Houston, that brings us up to our last game for Thursday. And that would be Houston and Arizona. And I'm telling you, everybody's going to go with Arizona. Everybody, and it's naturally. Arizona has a hell of a good team, but I think Houston is just that team that's going to sneak up and bite you, like Michigan did to Tennessee. And I have a feeling that, and like North Carolina did to Baker, and St. Peter's did to Kentucky, and I think Houston does it to Arizona. And I don't think Arizona makes it out of the Sweet 16, fellas. Gonzo,
I like Zona in this game. They're just so big, man. They have. Talk about my dog. I started laughing, but anyway,
Killer dinosaur.
I was trying to get him to be quiet, but now I forgot what I was even talking about.
We're talking about Arizona.
I like Arizona. They have so much height and athleticism. They're hard to deal with. They have like everybody in their starting lineups like 6'4", 6'5", or taller. So I like Arizona. I picked them to win it from the beginning, so I'm going to stick with them. I got him a killer dinosaur dog. You know what the funny thing is? He's a little Chihuahua.
Aw.
That's some funny stuff. How you got a Chihuahua? You don't even look like a Chihuahua kind of guy.
He was my son's Chihuahua.
Oh,
and then he became my buddy, so he stayed here when my son moved out.
There we go.
That thing, you know what that thing looks like? It looks like a big, oversized gerbil.
His name's Scrappy.
Yeah, I bet it is Scrappy.
It fits.
Okay, Logan. Houston, Arizona. What are we looking like?
Jay, I've been going with the favorites, right? I've been going with the high seeds. Screw it. I'm going with Houston. I'm taking your boys.
Oh.
Go with an upset. I got to go with one each round. Come on.
Come on, I'm telling you, I promise you guys are overlooking this team, and I don't know why people want to overlook them so much.
Oh no, Houston's a good team, but
yeah, obviously, yeah.
I gotta stay with Arizona. That's because that's who I picked to win the whole tournament. So I can't turn.
No, I got you. Hey, listen, I'm not telling you to go against who you picked. I'm just saying you picked wrong.
Hey, I might have.
Hey, all right. So then we got Friday's games, which is the end of the Sweet 16. We got St. Peter's and Purdue. And as much as I like St. Peter's, especially after what they did to Kentucky and Murray State, I I just don't see them getting past a Purdue team that plays the way Purdue plays. And I think Purdue takes out St. Peter's. Gonzo.
I think Purdue is going to take St. Peter's out. I don't think St. Peter's is going to be able to handle Purdue's two big men down low with Edie and Williams. And then, like I said, you have Ivy, who he can shoot threes or he can get to the rim. I think this is where St. Peter's Cinderella story ends.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that, but John Suggs is basically saying that Houston is faster than Arizona, and USC lost to Miami because they weren't fast enough, even though they were the tallest team. I'm telling you, man, people are going to overlook this Houston team. Gonzo, I hate to say it, but I think your bracket's about to get busted, buddy.
Oh, it already got busted before that.
I don't know what he's talking about.
I think St. Peter's busted everybody's bracket.
All right, Logan. What are we looking at, guy? What are we looking at?
Yeah, I already said earlier, but I think the Boilermakers moving on, knocking out the big Cinderella story for the year. Good run. I mean, hell, no one knew who the school was even coming into the tournament. So
I'll say this: I expect Purdue to win.
Yeah,
but I would be excited if St. Peter's won.
Oh, dude, I would be elated.
Yeah.
This time next week, if we're still talking about St. Peter's, I would be thrilled.
I would love. I don't know what it is about Cinderella teams, but I love Cinderella teams.
You know the only bad thing about it is after a team like St. Peter's does this, then one of these mid-major or bigger schools go steal their coach from them.
Yeah, that's how it usually works.
And then they have to start. then they have to start all over.
So he's got Purdue, Kansas, North Carolina, and Miami. So that's our.
Yeah, that's pretty. Well, I'm not going that far, but yeah, I definitely agree with his because that's the next one. So Kansas and Providence. I definitely think Kansas will take out Providence, even though Providence played Richmond really well. But yeah, I definitely think Kansas takes out Providence. Gonzo, do you feel the same way, or do you feel Providence has a shot against Kansas?
No, I like Kansas. I don't think Providence is going to have enough offense. To stay with Kansas for the whole game.
I don't think so either, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
all right, Logan.
Yeah, Jayhawks are moving on.
All right, so then that takes us to the North Carolina UCLA game, and I just feel like UCLA is playing good, but I just feel like North Carolina is just on a momentum right now that's going to carry them past UCLA. So I got North Carolina as well in this game. I think they're like number 8, and UCLA is number 4, but I think North Carolina stuns UCLA. Gonzo?
I'm going with UCLA in this game.
Okay. Logan?
They go
I'm sorry.
They go off to a slow start in the first game of the tournament, but last game against St. Mary looked real good. I think they're going to carry that momentum because they were in the Final Four last year, right? If I remember right, either Final Four or Elite.
I think they were in the 8. I don't think UCLA had made it to the 4.
Okay, it might have been the 8 that they got to last year. But that Johnny Shang, or however you pronounce his name, man, when he gets going, he's tough.
Mm-hmm.
Logan?
I'm gonna stick with UCLA also.
Okay.
I think just the slight more coaching experience for UCLA with Cronin. I think that's going to be a little bit more just it's going to be a little bit more on display as opposed to Davis, who this is his first year.
Right.
So I think that he'll just get a little bit out coached maybe in this game, but it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, like I said, there's a reason that Davis is up for Coach of the Year, but that's all nice and all. But come the playoffs, right? March Madness, that can all get thrown out the window.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John. He said they lost in the Final Four to Gonzaga.
I knew it was either Final Four.
UCLA did make it to the Final Four.
Yeah, they went last year.
For some reason, okay, never mind. Then I apologize, Gonzo. For some reason, my mind, I had them in the 8.
I thought they did, but I wasn't 100% sure.
Right.
Never go against Gonzo. That is what I'm learning on this show. And then we go to our next game, which I believe is Iowa State at Miami. And I think for the same reasons that John Suggs had talked about earlier with how fast Miami is, I feel like Miami's speed is going to take out Iowa. I feel like they're going to be a little bit too much for Iowa State to keep up with in terms of pace of the game. Gonzo, how do you feel about it, brother?
Yeah, I like Miami in this game as well. I don't think Iowa State's offense is going to be able to keep up with Miami's pace that they can put on the floor. So I like Miami.
Logan?
We go with the Hurricanes going on to the Elite Eight.
So we are all in agreement then that Hurricanes are going to take out Iowa State. All right, folks, there you have it. That is our predictions for the Sweet 16, and that will start Thursday and Friday. And then, of course, you have the Elite Eight. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. We said it was Saturday and Sunday, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so there you go, folks. We'll talk more about the Elite Eight recap on Tuesday and see how that all plays out.
I'm watching the NIT tournament right now because I was missing college basketball. I'm ready for the NCAA to come back on.
Man, I feel you, dude. No, I feel the same way.
I'm watching St. Paul in Virginia.
So then we move on to Woods, who was acquired from the Rams, now plays for the Titans. It's going to be interesting to see how well Woods plays. Obviously, Woods was made expendable when the Rams brought in Robinson on that huge contract that he got. I believe he got, I didn't write it down, but he definitely got I think it was about $45 million or something like that. No, I think it was more than that. Dang, Logan, did you by chance know what we signed for? I thought I wrote it down and I did not write it down. Well, I'll find out.
Yeah,
Robinson signed for 3 years, $45 million.
Yeah.
So they brought Robinson in to take the place of Woods. They traded Woods because he became expendable at that point, especially with Odell Beckham and Cooper Kupp and whatnot. So now he's coming off a torn ACL. He suffered back on November the 13th. I don't know, man. He got a little over 2,000 yards, 35 TDs, and 570 catches for the career. And as much as the Rams clamored up, down, left, and right that he's a part of that team, he's a part of this specifically is what they were saying. You're a part of this. You're a part of this. You're a part of this. Oh, by the way, you're getting traded to the Titans.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I don't know, man. I think if I'm Woods, I think I'm feeling a little bit slighted. I think it's a little bit of like, hey, everything I gave this team, and now you're going to trade me away. Well, because I tore my ACL, I'm going to come back from this. What the hell, I think the Rams definitely kind of shortchanged him a little bit off of that. But I think he goes to Tennessee, and I think he's going to take the spot that Julio Jones obviously vacated when they released him. And I think he's going to slide there opposite of A.J. Brown. And I do expect him to come back from his ACL. It may take him a little bit to get back into his groove. But I think once he gets back into his groove, he's going to play well, and the Titans are definitely going to benefit from this. Gonzo?
I think he'll do good in Tennessee if A.J. Brown stays healthy.
Right.
If A.J. Brown is not healthy and Woods has to be more of their number one receiver, I think he's going to struggle because he'll get some double teams and stuff. But I think if A.J. Brown's on the field, and you got to remember, Tennessee runs the ball most of the time, so he's not going to get as many. He's not going to get as many passes thrown to him as he's used to playing in L.A., where they throw the ball a lot more than what Tennessee does. Tennessee's more of a ground and pound with Henry and kind of just throw the ball when they have to.
Right. Logan?
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement. I mean, he's a good receiver, right? I mean, he's not going to get you a bunch of touchdowns, and I think he might kind of regress back to where he was early in his career with Buffalo before he went to the Rams, around that 500 to 800-yard year. Like you said, just playing opposite of Brown, and like Gonzo mentioned, this is a run-heavy team, so you're not going to get nearly as many passes thrown at you. I mean, he's been targeted over 130 times, pretty much 3 straight seasons, and he's probably not going to get anywhere near that this year.
So he'll be lucky to get maybe a half that or 3/4.
Right. So I think we'll see a dip in his numbers, but I think it'll be a good second option.
He's gonna be like, I think he's gonna be like a possession receiver for him. He's gonna be a good possession receiver for him. Bring in on third. You could have him on third down in the slot. I mean, because you can put him in a different. You can line him up different areas. He's good. You can play him at slot.
His average yards per reception for his career is 12.4. So I mean, you can, if you need a first down, throw it to him. If you need a minimum play, you can throw it to him too. So I think it'll be a good fit. I mean, like I said, he went from obviously the Super Bowl to a team who could very well still much win a Super Bowl in the next couple of years with the Titans. So I wouldn't say it's a downgrade. It's kind of maybe a little bit of a very small downward lateral move in a way.
Titans aren't going to the Super Bowl. Colts are going to take them out.
There you go. Also, congrats, Chris. You got Matt Ryan from the Falcons.
Hey, he's better than Mayfield. That's what I said this morning. At least I just didn't want Mayfield.
Hey, we'll gladly take that 3rd round pick. Thank you.
Yes, y'all will.
And we'll eat off his money too, just to spite you.
Here's an interesting topic, folks. If LeBron passes Kareem, does that make him the GOAT?
God, how many times are we doing this topic, Jay?
Hey, this will be the last time we do it. I promise. Hey, this will be the last time we do it. But I do think it's worth mentioning because
okay. I got you.
It is a hell of look. If he catches Kareem, that's a hell of a milestone. It really honestly is. It's a hell of a milestone. But like Jordan said, you know, if he would have chased stats over winning, I mean, how much further would he have gotten? So I don't know, guys. I don't know. I still don't believe, even if he passes Kareem, I still don't think it makes him the GOAT. I don't feel that way. Gonzo, do you think that makes him the GOAT?
No, I don't. I think Jordan's the GOAT, and I don't passing Kareem to me don't make him the GOAT because when people talk about the top 4 or 5 players in the league, a lot of people leave Kareem out. I don't know why they do, but I mean, a lot of people leave Kareem out. So I don't think him passing Kareem is as big a deal as some people are making it. And Isaiah Thomas is going to make it as big a deal as he can because he don't like him and Michael Jordan don't get along anyway.
I was about to say, right. I love the faded photo of Isaiah Thomas looking at him like it's the sun just staring down on these two.
And that's when I saw that picture, I said, "Yeah, we're gonna go with this."
Yeah, that's the one. That's a good choice there, brother.
But absolutely, but you know, Logan, and before you guys want to, I just feel like, you know, if you're a stat chaser, then LeBron is going to get it. But if you're not a stat chaser, I mean, that's really the only reason I can see people make an argument for this. What do you think?
I mean, he's definitely, like I said, LeBron. He's leading the league in scoring right now, Jay, at almost 38, which is unheard of.
Right.
Like I said, his numbers are still impressive. And, I mean, he's going to keep playing probably until he's at least 40. I mean, he's going to pass Kareem all-time points next year. He only needs around 2,000 or so. And, I mean, I'm not saying he is going to be put as one of the GOATs. But I think, Jay, if he passes Kareem, and hell, even if he gets their title, obviously not this year, but you never know what the Lakers are going to like next year or the year after that or when Bronny comes. Who knows? If he can get another ring, I mean, I feel like that's obviously going to amplify it more.
Right.
So he has 4, I believe. Jordan has 6.
Yeah, he has 4, and Jordan has 6, and Kobe had 5.
The whole record thing, all that stuff that gets thrown out, I don't care. But I think obviously, you know, Michael's going to be there. But I feel like if LeBron can keep up the way he's doing, he's got to be in at least the top 5 conversation. As dominant as he – because like I say, his career's still going. It's not over. He's still coming. He's still going. And, I mean, we'll see. I think that he's definitely going to be one. He obviously is one of the best players ever. But I feel like he still has more to do. And I feel like maybe once he retires, Jay, once we see his final stats and everything, then we can come back to this discussion once it's all good and done for. And then we can see, okay, once and for all, where are we ranking these guys at and how close or did LeBron ever pass them? We'll see then.
This is going to be something that's debated forever.
Right.
Oh, of course it's going to be debated forever. Every generation is going to debate it.
And I'm going to be in his spot with the nice beard and everything, just talking about this. Also, John's giving some love to the Colts. He said, team that won this all season, his opinion, is the Colts. They got a better quarterback for basically nothing. The Falcons paying Ryan's whole contract of $40+ million, give 3rd round, but they got a 3rd when they were traded for wins. So, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, we're only paying our quarterback like $7 million this year. So I mean,
yeah, Jay,
no, you definitely got to upgrade at the quarterback. Now you just need a good wide receiver to throw the ball to, and you're in great shape. You already got the running back, for crying out loud.
Thing that scares me is they're talking Julio, and I love Julio, but Julio hasn't been healthy.
No, the Falcons won that trade last year when they got rid of Julio.
Yeah, and we just got. I mean, we had a receiver last year in Hilton that couldn't stay healthy. So
yeah,
we don't need to bring in another one. We need somebody that's going to be on the field.
You're going to tag it and you're going to lock it.
I was hoping
we move on to a guy like Trevor Story of Boston, right? Yeah, he's a good player. Like I said, career 272. He signed a 6-year, $140 million contract to basically play second base instead of shortstop because Bogarts is still hogging up that spot, which is fine. He's a lateral move over to second base, but it gives him another middle order bat. The National League Gold Glove finalist, All-Star Silver Slugger. Guy's got some good resume builder stuff. The only thing I think that kind of, I don't want to say it misleads Trevor's Story's batting average, but he did play at Coors Field, which is a hitter's park.
Right.
It's going to be interesting to see how well he plays at Boston and how his average plays at Boston versus some of the bigger parks and things of that nature, where his average goes from there. Gonzo, what do you think?
Oh, I think this is a great pickup for the Red Sox, because not only is he a great infielder defensively, for a shortstop he has a good bat and he has some power as well. I mean, he might not have the same power in Boston that he did in Colorado, just because, hey, on that elevation in Colorado, that ball flies out of the park there. But for a shortstop, he has pop in his bat. I think this is a great move for the Red Sox.
And of course, Suggs chimes in. Major League Baseball, man, it seemed like Oakland, and the Braves gave up some of their main pieces. I understand they didn't want to pay Freeman because you gave the other two superstars big contracts, but man, hate to see him leave. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Logan hates to see him leave too. But I don't know, man. Logan, your boy Soler left for $35 million to go play with the Marlins. Who do you think hurt you most, Freeman leaving or Soler leaving? Because Soler was a big piece in that World Series run.
No, Freeman for sure, just because Freeman's been there for 10 plus years. Soler, we picked him up last year at the trade deadline. I get that. Yeah, obviously World Series MVP and all that stuff. But you never. They can
Logan, don't skip over that World Series MVP and stuff. You don't think y'all are gonna miss him?
No,
I felt like Freeman was kind of the glue.
Yeah,
but they got Olsen to replace him, and Olsen is, in my opinion, is better than Freeman. So what? So, and they still lost Soler.
Right, but they also have. I'm trying to think. They got rid of a good bit of their top prospects, like one or two of them were outfielders for Olsen. But I mean, you got Acuna coming back soon.
That's true. You do have Acuna coming back.
Probably one of the best lineups in the National League for sure. Whenever everyone's healthy, and so I mean, for me, Freeman personally, just because he was my favorite player on the team, but his agent didn't do nothing. He didn't help out. There was a lack of communication on both sides. The Braves had about a week before spring training. They didn't have a first baseman locked down and secured. And they're like, we got to do something. Obviously, Freddie and his agent didn't reach out enough. And they said, hey, we'll make this deal for Matt Olson, because they knew the A's are selling their whole franchise pretty much. So they picked him up. And I picked him up, signed him to an 8-year deal. So we'll be seeing him in Atlanta for a while. And like I said, last year he was a better hitter and a better defender than Freeman. I get Freddie was the 2020 MVP and has a bunch of accolades. But statistically, he was better last year, Olsen was. And you're getting someone who, pretty much on par and younger. A couple of years younger, I think 3 or 4 years. So we'll see what they can do. But Dodgers going to be scary. 4 MVPs on that team now. And we'll see. But yeah, talking about Trevor Story, right? One of the Rockies' best players in recent memory. Obviously, I feel like they should have traded him at the trade deadline. That way they could have at least gotten something for him. That was one where everyone's like, how did they not trade him? And then here he goes and leaves and goes to Boston. So right. I feel like the Rockies screwed up there, because you could have gotten at least a pick or a decent player or two, whatever, to pair now with Chris Bryant, who they signed to that big contract. And now, I'm not sure who the shortstop's going to be for the Rockies. So, they're still kind of iffy. Looking at Story, last year he hit 251 on the road. So that's the big thing we're really going to see is he a good player on the road or not, away from the Coors Field effect that everyone says. It's telling, because, obviously the higher altitude, you're going to hit more home runs. You're going to do all this and that. But it's going to be telling to see what he can do in Boston with the Green Monster and everyone. We'll see. I feel like he'll still be a good player. I don't know how many home runs he'll be able to hit. Obviously, he's not like a giant home run hitter or anything. But he's still got some good pop to his bat. But I feel like we might see a slight dip in terms of average. Because he hits about, he's hit about 160 in his career. Last year he hit 24. And he'll usually stay around that 20, 25 to maybe 30 some odd range. He hit 37 career high in 18, but I don't think he'll be able to get that in Boston unless he starts hooking him to the right field wall where there's no wall pretty much. It's just the height from us to a coffee desk, so we'll see what he can do. But I like the move. I think it helps out Boston and competing for the AL East with the Rays and the Yankees, of course. Sorry, Orioles. It's the Orioles. Come on.
So a question. So Mets, John Sledge was talking about the Mets. Do we think they're going to be a sleeper team this year? I think the Mets, they have a good lineup. I mean, they really do. I don't know, man. I'm not really 100% sold on the Mets. Does anybody? I know they have DeGrom, which is a great pitcher.
They got Scherzer. They picked him.
They got Scherzer, so they have a pretty decent rotation. I think on the pitching. I just wonder if the offense is going to be well enough.
They got Alonso, of course, who he's a really good player. They got Lindor. I think they could be a team that could vie for a wild card spot. I don't see them taking the East yet. I think it's still going to be kind of that 3-team deal where it's the Braves, the Nationals, and the Mets kind of all duking it out. And then later half of the season, I think the Braves still pull away with the division. The Nationals could make a good run because they got a young team with some good pieces. And I mean, the Mets. I feel like if the Mets can do something to improve their lineup a little bit, because like I said, they got a really good starting pitching rotation. It's just I feel like they need to just get their lineup a little bit stronger in the batting wise, and I think that would help out a little bit. But they are a team that I think to go off of what John said, they definitely could be a sleep team. I agree with that.
I think it's going to be interesting this year in baseball, period, because we got the universal DH coming back to the National League.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's, like I said, I think that's going to dramatically make things a lot quicker and a lot more aggressive on the offensive side of the ball. What do y'all think?
I love the moves the Mets made, but I think when it comes to the Mets, they're going to do New York Mets things, and that's for somehow they always figure out how to screw it up.
We never know how, but they'll find a new way.
I mean, because if you look on paper, they should have a team that they can contend and play. I mean, be competitive. But somehow it seems like the Mets just mess it up every year. And I do like the moves they made. They made a lot of good moves this year to try to get better.
Yeah, man. I tell you what, I guess it was we're with all the moves that have transpired throughout baseball so far.
Today's arbitration hearings. Speaking of the NL East, I just saw that Juan Soto got a deal to avoid arbitration for $17 million, which is the standard for this year.
Right.
So he's staying with them. He's probably going to take this, and then he'll get his multi-million-dollar deal real soon.
It's got to happen for him soon. I mean, as long as he's playing.
Yeah, that's why. Because like I said, if he didn't sign, he would have went to arbitration, and you know how that goes. But
yeah, exactly. We did know how that goes.
He'll get this deal, and then this next off season, we'll see Juan Soto signed a 10-year, $350 million contract. I can see it happening now.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it was more north of the $400 million. To be honest with you, the way this contract
was light work, Jay. That was an easy guess.
Yeah, that was the modest guess. That was the base price. We didn't give you the deluxe price.
Exactly.
Okay. And then we move on to Jamal Crawford announces his retirement. This guy's been playing basketball, Logan, probably longer than almost you've been alive.
Pretty much. I mean, he came in what, I think 2001-ish?
Yeah.
Let me see.
I want to say it was even before that. He's in his 20th season. So
2000 when he started. And I was 3 years old when he started.
Yeah, he played 20 years in the NBA.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he probably came in around 01, 02, played 20 seasons.
He hasn't played the last 2 years.
Yeah, he didn't play. He played 2020. So he didn't play.
Yeah, he took a sabbatical. I guess he figured out, well, I put out file this paperwork so I can get my retirement pay and all that stuff. So, but yeah, man, look, he was a crossover king.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, his nickname was Jay Crossover. For a career, he shot 14, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, second all-time in points off the bench, 3-time Sixth Man of the Year, only man to score 50 points in a game with 4 different teams much is the accolades of Jamal Crawford and his 20-year run. And I tell you, man, the guy, I think the 50 points that he did score came with the Bulls in 04, the Knicks in 07, the Warriors in 08, and the last 50-point game he had was with the Suns in 2019. And that's still to score 50 points off the bench in 2019. I mean, given how long you've been in the league, that's pretty impressive.
Yes, it was impressive. And also with the Crawford, he also won the Sixth Man of the Year award 3 times.
Yeah.
So I mean, I showed you what kind of player he was coming off the bench as well.
I think he won it maybe 2 or 3 years in a row at one point. I mean,
that's probably during the prime years, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, whenever the Clippers were making some noise in the early 2010s, he was a big part of that team. And like you said, I knew he scored 50 points a couple of occasions, but I didn't know it was four separate teams. That's impressive. Like I said, especially in 2019 when he was probably late 30s at that point already or something.
He was the oldest.
Oh yeah, he was mid to late 30s.
He was the oldest player to score 50 points when he done it in 2019. He's the oldest player ever in NBA to score over 50 points.
There you go. Yeah, he's 42 at the time. At the moment, he's about to be 4. Actually, he just turned 42 2 days ago. So
he's been like 39.
Jamal Crawford. So yeah, I mean, heck of a career all in all. I mean, I feel that obviously when you look at some of the greatest 6 men coming off the bench, he's got to be in discussion. And it's always one of those careers that he was a guy that was never that superstar level player, but you always knew he was a solid player and could always hit big shots when you needed to. And that's what you need on a team. That's what you really need, is that really good and proper 6-man. And that's what defined his career. And I mean, heck of a career. Hats off to him. And, hope he enjoys his retirement.
Yeah, every team needs a Jamal Crawford.
Yes. I mean, hell yes, they do. Jeez. Especially coming off the bench when some of these teams are so barren on the bench side of things.
Let's speak about guys staying on the bench, Jay. I said some of the guys who are going to be staying on the bench or on the couch the rest of the year.
Yeah, pretty much. That's exactly what Zion's been doing. And so is Damian, unfortunately. More for Damian because I think Zion is just – I don't know what's going on with that foot of his, but he just has some serious issues.
It ain't looking good. It ain't looking good at all.
No. So neither one of these guys are returning this year. Zion could put weight on it. Just he just doesn't have enough time left in the season to get back in game shape. So that's why they're going to hold him out. He may not want to give, and they may not want to give him a max contract, because how do you give a max contract to a guy that you haven't seen play in a game yet, coming off that serious injury? So I think, it's going to be another year. I don't know. I guess he's up. Maybe they give him another 1 year, prove-it deal, and then you get your max contract.
I mean,
Zion, what do they do with him?
We'll talk about Zion first. And I've said for years, Jay, that he's leaving the Pelicans. The Pelicans have not done nothing to build around him in the years he's been there. The best shot they had was when they had Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, and company. They blew that up. And, I mean, I think they're currently the 10 seed right now, fighting for their lives to stay in playoff contention. I mean, it's been like this his whole career in New Orleans. And, yes, I get that if he was there and in the very limited action we see him on the court since 2019, he has been dominant and very impressive. But we haven't seen him this year.
Right.
He is – it pains me to see it, Jay, because this guy at Duke, everyone was saying he's the next LeBron just because of his size, his skill, his just ferocity driving to the basket. And he's 21, going to be 22 years old. And Jay, we're already talking about him leaving his first team, hadn't played really at all this year, and having foot injuries, not because of a bad play or he fell on it wrong. Just because, like I said, I get he had it because of that, but he's not helping himself with. We saw reports of him on the court, and that let's work out the great line of Charles Barkley and Shaq saying that's their baby. The many reports of him being out of shape and overweight, and that's your job as a basketball player.
Stay in shape.
In shape, you get paid. You are a number 1 overall pick, and you're having issues with this. So. It sucks to see him hurt. I think that, obviously he's not. I don't think anyone thought he would go. I don't think anyone thought that he wouldn't be getting a major extension or a major contract, but that's the way it's going to be. He's going to have to get a short-term deal. I don't think we're getting a 4 to 5 year whatever plus deal. I could see 2 to 3, right? A 2 to 3 year deal for. I always say he's going to go back to the Knicks and go there and see what you can do. Because I think the time's up in New Orleans. The franchise ain't done nothing around him. He needs to get away from all the Cajun food and just move on somewhere else. But hate to see him not play, though, because, man, we're just, I know everyone's throwing out the word Greg Odom. I'm not going to do that. Not yet.
That's exactly that was what I was going to say.
I'm not throwing it out there yet, Chris, because he's still young, and hopefully he doesn't have chronic knee or leg issues like.
Hey, Odom was young when his career started.
Yeah, hopefully not. Like I said,
Odom was in.
Sometimes
Odom was Indiana guy.
Scenery is what you need, and I think that's what Zion's going to do this year. I'll talk more about Dame in a minute, but what you got, Chris?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I was going to bring up Odom because he's starting to remind me a lot of Odom, how because Odom was young when his career started to go like this.
Yeah,
it was,
and he never returned. And with Zion, I worry about his weight because if his foot's hurt, what kind of conditioning is he even able to do? I think a lot of it is though. I don't know how hurt he is. I think he wants out of New Orleans, and I think that has a lot to do with him not playing. I think he wants out of New Orleans. I think
there's weeks when we don't hear about what's going on with him.
Yes, I think he wants to go to New York and get back with R.J. Barrett.
Yep. That's it. I got the money to do so.
So then we move on to Damian, and Damian basically took on he had some abdominal surgery back in January, which that's a pretty significant surgery, abdominal. I mean, that really affects a lot of how you move. The last time he played was December 31st. He took an injury. He took on the injury at the Olympics and has suffered in points and shooting since then. Matter of fact, he's averaged about 24 points, 7 assists in 29 games. But he really has suffered a lot, and they shut him down back, of course, like I said, right before the new year. What do you guys think, man? I mean, obviously Dame's going to come back, but my personal opinion, I don't have a problem with them shutting down Dame right now anyway, because Portland's not going to the championship.
No, I'm glad they shut him. I'm glad they shut him down for that reason. There's no reason to be playing him now when you're not going to win anything. So why jeopardize him more and rush him back? Let him heal up so you get because he's only 31 years old. I mean, Dame still has some good years left in him. I don't like his choice of staying in Portland. I wish he'd have went somewhere so he could try to get him a championship. So I just don't see the Trailblazers building a team around him for him to get that championship in Portland.
Yeah, they're days away from getting knocked out of playoff contention. They were battling for that 10 spot. I think they're 2 or 3 games behind now. And without Dame, and obviously they traded McCollum, they're not doing nothing. I mean, even if they do make the play-in, they're not getting out. They're not going far in the playoffs. Like Chris
they might beat the Lakers in the play-in.
I'm about to say, I think 3 of us with Frankie and Rob or someone could beat the Lakers, but I don't see. Obviously the Blazers season's shot. Jay, I've been saying it all year. I don't trust these Blazers. Obviously Dame, great player, good dude, and all that. Like I said, abdominal surgery is tough. Give him a full offseason to recover. I mean, he's more than earned it, carrying the whole team, the whole franchise on his back for years. And John says, do you see Lillard bolting to a new team? Bolting, no. Only problem is his huge contract. They don't get in trading Pelicans pick for Pistons, Jeremy Grant to help Lillard. Who you think would want him, and do they have the salary cap? Well, the NBA really they don't care about salary cap. Let's be real here. I mean, you can pay that luxury tax any day. The only way I see Lillard leaving is if they trade him. I don't see him leaving in free agency just because of all the times you've seen him say he doesn't want to leave. But like Gonzo said, there ain't nothing around him. They traded his best friend, the best player on the team beside him. I mean, you got Nurkic, you just got fined $40,000. I get. Everyone says the Lakers, right? I mean, come on, but I mean, I wouldn't want to go to the Pistons. I'd rather stay on the Trailblazers than go to the Pistons. Ain't no way.
If he wants to go to a team that's not very good, come on over to the Pacers.
Hey,
Hey,
listen,
we get Dame. He'd make us a good team because we have some good parts. We just don't have that big star player that we need.
You know, you got Halliburton over there in Indiana. Halliburton's a hell of a good player, though.
Yeah, he just got there.
The Kings with that one.
Yeah, he just got there, and he's been
good.
He's been good for him.
And then,
but yeah, Pacers are in that weird. I don't know if I quite consider Pacers a rebuild, but exactly they're not exactly playoff contenders either. I think they're in this weird purgatory of trying to put something together.
That's the problem, though. We're always in that little middle tier. We never.
You never get, man. Hey, the only time you ever really got in that middle tier is when you had Reggie Miller.
Reggie Miller.
There you go. Thank you. We had Reggie Miller.
Okay, let's see. So he said it's a Lillard to the Knicks done with. I think you'd get Zion other than Lillard. I could see that happening more than Dame going.
Yeah, I think so too. But but if Lillard went to the Knicks though, that'd be a hell of a good team though.
Yeah, I think that definitely improve. And then throw that comment up there about the Yankees with Aaron Boone again.
Aaron Boone.
Whenever you put that up. So Aaron Boone on his level of concern with Eric Adams saying he's not close yet to lifting the vaccine mandate. I did send I found something earlier today. Let me pull it back up. But someone did the math on Twitter, and basically it's okay, here it is. So if the mandates remain as they currently are, an unvaccinated Yankees player could miss 92 games in 2022. 81 of those at Yankee Stadium at home, 9 of them at Rogers Centers, where the Blue Jays play in Canada, and then 2 at Citi Field for the Subway Series. So, I mean, there's reports that I don't know names specifically, but there are a couple of players on the Yankees who are not yet vaccinated. It does not seem like the mayor is going to change his stance at the moment. So, for the love of God, you're missing a player for over half your season. It's Kyrie Irving, but doubled. I mean, that would be a huge blow, especially if it's a major player, because like, we don't know who. But if it's a top tier player, I'd be pissed.
Yeah, I would be too.
So we'll see. We will tell. Time will tell very soon because the season starts in about 2 weeks, maybe a week. April 7th.
Yeah, we're not far off. I think we're like 1 month away from the season actually. We're less than a month. We got about I'd say 2 weeks. So he said a fully healthy Aaron Judge. So I'm guessing Judge might be one of them, according to John.
Yeah, he is.
So a fully healthy Aaron Judge will be able to play in 70 of the Yankees' 162 games. Boy, and he's up for a contract too. You do know that. We'll see, Frankie.
That's because of his. Hey, that's because of his vaccination, correct?
Correct.
What an idiot! I'm sorry. These people are idiots. I don't know how else to say that. You're going to turn out all that money over a damn shot. Listen, nobody has died or done anything from the damn shot. Nobody.
Look, I don't know is it going to be the same rules, Jay, like they do Kyrie, and they say you can be in the arena, you can be in the stadium, but God forbid you're on the field.
Exactly.
And I bet you it's the same thing as they do in basketball, to where if an opposing team is unvaccinated, they can still play.
Yep, that's what I was going to say. And a player on a team, another team can play. It makes no sense.
It's never made sense. And let's be honest, even in baseball, you're not that close contacted to other athletes because of the diameter of the field.
I'm about to say, the first baseman's all the way back in the grass while you're standing. I mean, no one's it's not – I'm not going to say I understand.
Around anybody's in the dugout.
In basketball, I can get you're playing defense and everything. In baseball, you barely touch each other except to tag somebody. That's it. Half your
if you think about it, even if you think about it in the basketball world, if I'm on the court playing basketball, the only people that are going to really be affected by me would really just be the people that I'm playing on the basketball court with. I'm more susceptible to get people infected sitting in the stands than I am out on the court.
Yeah, because you're in the stands, you're around, 40, 50 people.
You're in proximity.
And I mean, there's no magical barrier like the way it seems, the way it's been described, to where the court, it stops here.
Oh, no, come on.
Yeah, he said,
if you're 5 feet away, Jay, and you're in the first row, you're good. I don't get it.
Hey, he said
No,
hashtag.
I think it was 6 foot.
Yeah. Oh,
Hey, he said hashtag free Kyrie Irving, hashtag free Aaron Judge from baseball. All right. Well, folks, let's get on to the next subject matter, shall we?
If the rule made sense, I wouldn't have a problem with it. But
Yeah,
the
right.
rule don't make
I
sense.
would be fine with it, but it just makes no sense. There's too many holes in it.
Now, this is listen. Let's talk about let's do real quick about NHL free agency. I'm not gonna lie, I have not watched enough NHL to really stay abreast of all of the moves that have been made. Have you guys? I know Fleury got moved.
He left. Let's see. All right, Jay, I got to pull it up here at NHL.com. Yesterday was the trade deadline. There was a lot of moves being made. So let me see if your team did anything. How about that? We'll see.
I don't think Dallas made any damn moves. I didn't see anything.
Okay. Oh, geez. Okay. The Stars acquired forward, and please, for love of God, don't get me for butchering this name. Vladislav Namstikov, close enough, from the Detroit Red Wings. So you got him, Jay. Congrats for getting. Try and spell that name real quick. You also got Scott Wedgwood from the Coyotes in exchange for a 4th-round pick. You traded away Ty Felbar to the Tampa Bay Lightning for Alexei Lipanov. Oh, that was back in February. So, and Chris, do you have a hockey team by chance? I can look that up.
It'd be the Columbus Blue Jackets, just because they're the closest to me.
Hey, same way. All right, so the Blue Jackets. Oh, geez. Okay, hold on. Give me 1 second, folks. Okay, so they made one move yesterday. Hey, Chris, look at that. Man, I don't know what's going on. Both of our teams in different sports are trading with each other. Yesterday, the Falcons gave you Matt Ryan for a 3rd-round pick that you can be used. You probably thrown in a free vending machine or something too, I would hope. Something that will get the fans excited for this season, because I know, for the love of God, nothing else will. Okay, so here we go. The Carolina Hurricanes acquired forward Max Domi and defenseman prospect Tyler Inamoto from the Blue Jackets in exchange for defenseman Aiden Heschrick, and Florida Panthers also are in this deal. They received prospect Igor Korshkov and a 6th-round pick for this upcoming year. So we've got Max Domi from your team.
I think the biggest move though was the T-Wolves getting Fleury. I said the T-Wolves, the Minnesota Wild, the Minnesota Wild getting Fleury.
There was a lot of moves, obviously, but yeah, I mean that was a big one. I'm looking here. The Lightning acquired Riley Nash from the Coyotes. A couple of goalies got gone. Yeah, so that is hockey. Let's do that hockey.
Hey, you know what this tells me? This tells me next year when hockey season starts, I'm going to be a lot more versed in the subject matter.
I've been trying to watch more of it. My problem is, before I find a hockey game, I usually find an NBA game.
They don't show it.
Yeah, that's usually the way I go too. Honestly,
we're in Georgia. We don't get nothing. All the ones are either Canadian only channels or you have to pay for them.
Yeah, that's.
We don't because there's. I know they have a deal with TNT or TBS. I forget, but I mean
that's how it is here too.
It is what it is. Oh well,
that's how it is here because we don't have a hockey team.
John Suggs, if there's any big trades that we missed just because we don't know the players, put them in the comments and we'll read them off. But like you said,
John Suggs, be our hero tonight. Be our hero, John Suggs.
John,
hey, listen.
You are commenting your heart out as the only one too. So we appreciate it, buddy. That's why we know you.
We do. We love John Suggs.
We love you, John. All right,
he's been on here the whole time.
He has.
He has been. John's been right or dying it with us, man. Hey, how can small market teams in Major League Baseball grow? Listen, damn it. They don't even have the Astros on here, but I feel like the Astros are a small market team. We just have not.
Really?
I mean, we're not really small market. We're not big market. I think really the Astros are probably more like mid-level market, to be honest.
I don't know what the Cardinals in the middle there either.
But let's take a team like.
Here we go. Good job. First off,
New York Rangers land Andrew Kopp from Winnipeg Jets.
Woo! All right, good job. Thank you. Good job, Andrew. All right, go on, Jay.
Let's take a team like not even the Orioles. Let's just take the Oakland A's for example. That's a small market team. That's definitely a small market team, and yet they had the smallest payroll, most likely. I think the Rays had a pretty small payroll as well, too. And I think the Miami Marlins also have a small payroll. And yet these teams seem to be somewhat competitive, but they don't really necessarily grow. And I think the reason why they're not growing is they're not growing through their number one, I think they're not growing through the farm system. So they really can't compete for a lot of the free agency people because they don't necessarily have the money to compete for free agency against the likes of LA or New York or Chicago or whatever. So I think they need to really focus on going to the South America and trying to develop their draft and their farm systems, I think, number one, so they get better quality players so they can compete for the World Series, which if they get in the World Series, then they're getting name recognition. And if they get name recognition, then they're growing their fan bases. But I also think they have to do a better job marketing the players that they do have so they can grow that direction as well. Gonzo, what do you think? How do these small market teams compete with the likes of a Yankees who has their own damn network?
The way they have to compete is their scouts almost have to be perfect when they're scouting these players and getting these prospects, and then they have to have good coaches down there developing their talent. Because if you have an owner that can't spend the money like New York can, right. I mean, that's only you have to be perfect in everything else to try to fill that gap. And another thing small market teams need to do I think that would help is market your players better. Get your players out there where people know your players and make a connection with them. And that's going to draw more. That draws more fans to the game of baseball. And then I think that could help small market teams grow. But like teams like the A's, all these teams up here, that's their thing is they have to be real good in the scouting department and in their developmental. If they're not good there, they're never going to get over that hump.
Let's see. Yeah. Also, I don't get all the hate. Conman.
No, I got it. No, I got this, Logan. Conman Expedito. Conman Expedito.
Oh.
This one of your buddies, Jay? Is he pulling up?
I don't know who this is. It doesn't matter. Conman Expedito. I hope you do think I'm ugly. Because God forbid if you thought I was hot. That would really make me come question you and pray to God that this is on a computer and not in real life, because I don't like people who think I'm hot and sexy, especially when they have genitalia that look like my own. Enough said about that subject matter.
Let's talk about this baseball. No. So you say teams that have kept their top draft choices because they have the ability to improve without spending big money on players. Yeah, I mean, that's how these teams work. He should have seen Jay with the baby face a few weeks ago. Yeah, that's when he should have been in here. That's when he should have been here about 3 weeks ago. Jay looking all fresh and clean with his haircut and his beard shaved. That's when he should have been here. I'm just saying. But the reason, Jay, that I wholeheartedly disagree with your choice that the Astros are a small market team, I found the payroll for 2022 MLB teams. Top 10, and also I said the Cardinals too. The Houston Astros, 9th, $157.8 million on their payroll. That ain't small market. Cardinals at 10th had 137.2. Whenever I was doing this, right, there are 17 of the 30 MLB teams have over $100 million or more on their payroll. So I look more at the bottom 13, okay? Those are the Chicago Cubs at 98.1. That'll probably go up. Like I said, they just got I forget the guy's name off the top of my head, the Japanese prospect. Yeah, so you have the Cubs, the Nationals at 92, the Rockies at 90, the Rays at 75, the Royals at 72, the Athletics at 71, the Twins at 71, the Mariners at 71, and then you get into the really bottom of the barrel here. 60s and below. Arizona Diamondbacks, $66.6 million. Miami Marlins, $55.7 million. And then, like they say in Moneyball, there's us, there's 50 feet of crap. And then here we go. And these are the teams who, I mean, they don't got no money. The Pittsburgh Pirates, $34.5 million. That's almost a $20 million difference between 28th and 27th place. I'm just saying. But then after that, you got the Baltimore Orioles with $29.4 million. And as it was last year, I was going to go this year. The Cleveland Guardians are the brokest team. You can say the brokest team in the league. Their payroll, a whopping $29.1 million. There's players getting more paid than that. That's their
absolutely. No, absolutely there are.
But like we all said, the way you can grow small market, because you're not seeing any of those teams make big moves during free agency. I mean, Oakland's giving away their players.
Oakland had a fire sale.
Right. You don't see the Pirates or the Orioles.
Reds is giving away
players. To go there.
Reds giving away players.
Yeah, I mean, the Reds are – where are the Reds at? The Reds are 15th with 105, right? So right in the middle. They're about to go way down now, though. But he said, I would like to argue against you with Oakland. Bro, I've been watching Oakland my whole life. My father is a diehard Oakland Athletics fan. I can tell you how this story goes each and every 2 or 3 years. They trade their best players for prospects. Jesus Christ, John. Okay. I'll get to that in a minute. Let's get this novel here. But let me give my spiel. They give up their players for prospects. Those prospects come up. They get good. They sign them to like a 1 or 2 year extension. They trade them. When's the last time you saw an Oakland Athletics player sign for 9 or 10 years for $300 million? It don't happen. Jesus Christ. Okay. Let me get some water first before I read this telenovela here from John. Put that back up, Jay. Hold on.
Okay, I'll put it back up.
It's such a long comment, John, that it almost covers both mine and Chris's face. You can see Chris's eyeballs. So Oakland is part of.
Hey, Chris, put your hands up like this. It looks like you're peering over it.
I gotta know. I gotta know, John. Did you type all this out real quick, or did you just find this in an article? I think it's an article. I'm just saying. Oakland is part of a 3-city media market with San Francisco and San Jose, and by far the smallest and poorest of the three. That's one reason the A's are desperate to get to San Jose. They currently penned into a mini market because of MLB territorial rules about TV rights. Another is their cavernous hole. Their stadium sucks. It's probably one of the worst stadiums in the league. They are the last team forced to share their home facilities with the Raiders. Yes, they got rid of that a couple of years ago. The stadium is football first, old, uninteresting, and ill. I feel like we're missing something. The stadium sucks. I mean, there's reports of like sewage and all that other crap. Just the stadium sucks. That's why you see, really over the last 5+ years, okay, the A's might be moving. I pray to God they move. Go to Vegas. Go to another place. Go to San Jose. Go to Vegas. Go somewhere else, because Oakland ain't giving you no money. The owner ain't doing it for you. And, that's why they're always – like we say, like the Rays. For the love of God, the Rays almost won the World Series the other year. I mean, they won the AL East last year. And they don't have no money. So, you can do it. You can compete with a minimal budget in baseball. And it's crazy because there's not a lot of other sports you can do that with.
Right.
You just get the right guys together to have the right chemistry, and you got the right people development.
Yeah.
And
like you said, marketing the players is hard because they know that you can't market them a whole lot because you're going to trade them for more prospects in a couple of years. I rest my case.
That's a hell of a case, let me tell you.
As I sip my water. What's up next, Jay?
Yeah, we're getting there. Matt Ryan to the Colts, our favorite subject matter, because this is where Gonzo gets to be all happy.
I'm about to say Chris gets to be happy with this one.
Gonzo gets to be all happy with this. So let's be honest. I'm not going to make too much out of this, but Matt Ryan to the Colts was a good move on their part because they gave up a third rounder, but they got a third rounder from the Carson Wentz. So really they gave up a third, got a third. So that was really a negating factor. So the really thing, what they got was they got a quarterback of at least the next 3 to 4 years. How long? Let me ask you a question. How long do y'all give Matt Ryan before he retires? 3 years?
He's currently 36, so yeah, I can see 3 years.
So let's just say the Colts got themselves a quarterback for 3 years. And it's not a bad thing. Matt Ryan's a good quarterback. He's not gonna be like this flashy guy, Aaron Rodgers, whatever, but he's not gonna be a horrible guy either. He's just gonna be a guy that can play honest football.
Yep.
So what you're gonna need, you already have your stud. You have your stud running back, no doubt about it. You got a decent defensive core, no doubt about it. But what you still don't have, is a number one wideout. So at some point, the Colts, either through the draft or through some other mechanism, either via trade or where, I don't know, is a trade deadline, it's come and gone, hasn't it?
I believe so, at least for now.
Exactly. So pretty much the only thing the Colts can do at this point is hopefully get a wide receiver in the draft that can be a number one. And I don't know if there is such a wide receiver that will be available when they draft, or if they want to go on O-line or D-line. What do you think, Gar? Your team, you know, inside now. Which way do you think the guys go at the draft to improve this team and help Matt Ryan out? Do you think they go wide receiver in the draft, or do you think they go a different route?
They need to go either wide receiver or tight end. You got to get somebody I don't care who the quarterback is. If we don't get a better receiving core, it's not going to matter.
Exactly.
I love that they got Matt Ryan. I was afraid they was going to get Baker. Matt Ryan, I think he still has years of being able to play good ball. He wasn't playing bad in Atlanta. The Falcons not winning wasn't all Matt Ryan. I mean, he threw for almost 4,000 yards last year, 20 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. He had a rating of 90.4, so it ain't like he's playing terrible.
Right.
And you got him. And Atlanta's eating almost all of his salary, so the Colts are only paying him like $7 million this year. So I think it was a good move by the Colts, but I agree with you. If they don't do something in the receiving core, I think they're going to struggle to be able to throw the ball just because we don't have that true number one. And that's something. And I don't know if they're going to be able to find it in the draft or not. I think maybe because I don't think they have a first round pick.
No, the Colts do not have a first round pick.
So unless they try to move up,
but I think you can still find a number one even in the second round. Gonzo, I think you can still find a number one in the second round because the first round is primarily going to be running back, defensive line, offensive line. You know, it's going to be primarily defense and offensive line based. So I think you have a good shot at it.
Yeah,
that's true.
We'll get to that comment in a minute, John. So yeah, the Colts currently their earliest pick is the second round, pick number 42, and the website I'm using has a mock of them going with wide receiver from Penn State, Jahan Dotson. I mean that's your earliest pick, and then after that you don't have another one in the second. I didn't even notice, but you didn't give up your earliest third round pick. You had 2 picks in the third round. You currently have 73, and then you gave up 82 to the Falcons. So you only have 2 picks the whole draft. So I would definitely say second round, get a receiver. Third round, if there's still one that you want there. The one I'm looking at has them going with another offensive lineman from Memphis, Dylan Parham. So next thing, too, is talking more about the trade. Matt Ryan's finally going to get an offensive line for once in his life. So that's nice to see. It sucks to see him go. He's with the Falcons since I was in 5th grade, back in like 2008 when he got drafted. So I liked him. He did a lot for the community. I know there's been a bunch of jokes, obviously, about the Super Bowl, blah, blah, blah. But he's probably the greatest Falcon, if not Falcons, quarterback for sure in their franchise history. And you lost Freddie, you lost Matt in the span of a week. My childhood's been crushed, guys, so I'm not feeling too good. But it is what it is. Happy to see him go. I mean, like I said, it's an upgrade. Obviously, the Falcons are going to suck this year. They didn't do great last year, but they're really going to be bad this year. Marcus Mariota, he's cool. He's not someone I trust to turn a franchise around, though. But obviously, the Falcons said, this draft ain't too hot for quarterbacks. So they played it safe. They got Mariota for, I believe, 2 years. And they're going to stick to their guns with him. And it's going to be tough because it's a nice stadium, Jay. We can probably get some cheap tickets to go watch the Falcons get beat by 30 against God knows who.
John Suggs says, since Watson and now Jacoby Brissett is on the Browns, where does Baker go now? Panthers? Still paying Darnold and talking Cam Newton today, or you see maybe Seahawks or maybe try the Giants. Number one, they're not going to the Giants. They're not going to the Panthers. They just don't have the funds or even the ability because the Giants they're still trying to work out the whole deal with Daniel Jones. And let's just be honest, the Panthers are in too much of a disarray to make a move right now. I think either the Seahawks or the Steelers are probably the 2 best locations for Baker. Do y'all agree or disagree?
Yeah. Also, he said they just got Tyrod Taylor, so he said knock the Giants out too. Yeah, I mean, I've said the Seahawks because I feel like the Seahawks, if they were going to start rebuilding for sure, they would have gotten rid of a lot more of their players than they have by now. I mean, yeah, I haven't heard any rumors about them trading Metcalf or anyone like of that nature. So I know that they got Drew Lock. I mean, do you really trust Drew Lock? I'd rather have Baker Mayfield than Drew Lock. Personally. That's just me personally. But for the love of God, there's not that many spots left for him. The Saints signed Winston. That was a pick I thought he could have went to.
Yeah.
That's over.
And then if Seattle goes with Jimmy G.
Yeah, I mean, Jimmy G, it looks like Jimmy's going to sign back with the Niners, honestly. And I mean,
I don't see him in the Niners. I don't think the Niners believe enough in Trey Lance to say, yeah. And I don't think that Baker, they believe, is better than Jimmy G.
You know what that tells me, Jay? They wasted their 2021 draft pick. They moved up. They got someone who didn't help them get better, and they screwed it bad.
Oh, God, yes. Why would you select him at number 3 when he clearly is more like a number 16 or even second round?
He was not a number 3 overall pick. I didn't get the hype. And obviously they feel that he's not ready. Like I said, it could change. But the talks on – I love how, guys, after the playoff Super Bowl ended, who was the number 1 guy everyone spoke about? Where's Jimmy Garoppolo going to go to?
Exactly. I still think I think exactly like you said, Logan.
There has been no
gets
rumors.
so disrespected.
What are you saying, Logan?
No, I'm just saying there's been no rumors of him getting traded. There has been barely a peep coming out of the San Francisco 49ers front office about trading him. They said they're going to field offers, but we haven't heard any mock offers or anything of, oh, so-and-so was offered for Jimmy G, but they turned it down. We haven't heard nothing about that. And now here we are with the season starting in a couple of months still. But if the night, I mean, I wouldn't have traded him anyways. He got you almost to the Super Bowl last year. So I'm cool with keeping him. You can do what the Packers are doing. Do the whole Jordan Love situation. Have him sit forever. But
right.
Obviously they
you know what though, honestly, Logan, I think I would have made one shot. I would have made one shot. I would have made a shot at Deshaun Watson. I definitely would have. I would offer Jimmy G.
Yeah, that was the one that everyone was going to go to.
I would offer Jimmy G. Yeah, I would offer Jimmy G and at least 2 first rounders with Jimmy G on top of that, and I would say let's see what we can do.
Jay, you brought up
the Texans. If not, I'm going with Jimmy G.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you brought up the Texans, right? Baker maybe could go to the Texans, but I wouldn't want to. I'd rather retire at that point.
Of course.
He said, what about the Lions? He said the Rams sent them a first-round pick, a third-round pick, and Jared Goff to the Lions last year for a quarterback. The Browns get one of their first-rounders back they just gave away. That one, I mean, Jared Goff is a fringe starter, honestly. He could be replaced. Let's be real, he could. So, I don't know, man. I mean, there's not – I mean, the Steelers maybe, but it seems like they're going to go with good old-fashioned, you know.
How much better is Baker than Goff, if he is at all?
Good question.
I think Goff is better than Baker Mayfield because let's be honest, Goff did get the St. Louis Rams to the Super Bowl. He didn't win it, but he got them there. I still think Goff is a better quarterback.
Sean McVay is probably one of the best coaches at the moment too.
Yeah, I do think Goff is better than Baker. I think Baker would have been better at Pittsburgh because Baker is better than Mason Randolph.
I would have way rather seen Baker go to the Steelers.
Yeah.
I feel like that would have been a better option, but I mean, there's still some time left. I feel like obviously he's going to play. There have been more rumors coming out that the Seahawks might still get Kaepernick. That's still floating around. But yeah, there's definitely a small amount of teams that could go after Baker now. So
you know what though, Logan? Let's be honest, Logan. You know what I think, honestly? I think that I would have really liked to have seen Baker go to Seattle. And I'm gonna tell you why. Mm-hmm. I would love to see Baker go to Seattle for the specific fact that you say, listen, you have a good head coach. You have Tyler Lockett and DJ Metcalf, 2 amazing wideouts, and you have a good running back in Carson. If you can't do something with that wideout combination, you frankly don't belong in the NFL.
Yep.
I think that would have taken all the excuses away from Baker, saying, well, he deserves another chance. No, he really, honestly, truly doesn't. Maybe as a backup, I'll give Baker a shot at a backup. But if he can't succeed in Seattle with that wide receiver core lineup, then quite frankly, he's just a backup at best.
So he said the only way you trade Baker is if you trade Baker and a draft pick as a pack. I mean, obviously, yeah. You got to throw something in there to sweeten the pot.
Oh, absolutely.
We'll see.
Absolutely.
We'll see where it goes.
All right, folks. On to the next subject, which is our wrestling match. All right, Logan. I watched this match, and it was pretty damn good, to be honest with you. Okay. You hear me okay? Okay. It was a TNA match. Again, it was Samoa Joe, Christopher Daniels, and AJ Styles. Whoever pins first wins. And, of course, Chris Daniels came in with the belt. And from what I can see, it looked like Joe and Styles partnered up on Daniels at the very beginning, hoping, I guess, to weaken up Daniels pretty good. They eventually got away from that and started hitting each other. I personally think that they should have just stayed up on Daniels until they got him out of there, and then they could have went after it. And that way we could have crowned a new champion no matter what. But I guess the storyline obviously went different from what I thought should happen. And Styles tried several submissions on Joe to try to get him pinned. Joe put a lot of different kicks on Daniels. Joe got into submission styles with Joe and so forth. And there was a lot of kicks, a lot of submissions, a lot of throwing out of the ring, so forth of that nature. Daniels gets a submission on Joe. And then, of course, Styles flies off the rope, does a backflip, and breaks up both guys. Joe flies off the ropes and takes out everyone with a suplex off the top turnbuckle. It was pretty high flying, to be honest with you. Daniels eventually throws Styles over to Joe, and Styles pins Daniels for the win. So AJ Styles did take the win, but man, let me tell you something. The Fallen Angel, Christopher Daniels, played up a hell of a good fight, and Joe did a really good job trying to get submissions and going off the turnbuckle. It was pretty high flying, a lot of action, but at the end of the day, man, your boy AJ Styles walks away with the championship belt. Gonzo, what do you think about this match?
Who picked this match?
That was me.
It's another solid choice. This match, you can't go wrong with AJ Styles and Samoa Joe. If you have them in the same ring, it's going to be good. And then you add Christopher Daniels in there. That's just a bonus. Especially in this match, Daniels was still more in his prime than what you see now when he's on TV because he's getting a little older. But then AJ Styles,
like 53 now.
Yeah, and it's crazy. You look at AJ Styles in this match, how young he looks compared to when you watch him on WWE now. But no, it was a great match. I remember watching this match live, and I love the 6-sided ring.
I'm gonna say, Jay, what do you think about that? Because this is your first P&A match we've ever done. What do you think about the 6-sided ring as opposed to the traditional 4? Jay?
I'm sorry. I caught a side glimpse of Jennifer Lopez side boob, and I got distracted. I apologize. Say that one more time.
What did you think about the 6-sided ring as opposed to the 4-sided traditional ring?
Yeah, that was really weird. I didn't understand it at first. I thought that was I didn't understand why they did it like that. Why? It was really kind of weird.
That's what they've been doing for a long time. They started off with 4, then they switched to 6, and then went back to 4. Now I think, are they back at 6 again? I don't remember. But they've switched back and forth between this for years, but it's just to make them look different, right? To give it kind of a different appeal. I always liked that. That was kind of cool.
Hey, Jay,
I didn't realize, I didn't see what year this match was in. What year was this match, Logan?
2005.
So this has been AJ Styles has been in the ring for a long time.
Yeah. Yes. He is currently, let me just look at the age for all these guys now because they're older. And they're also wrestling.
Jay, I could tell you're becoming a wrestling fan because you already said the storyline didn't go the way I thought it should.
Yeah, but they already get some hate.
I already tell Jay's turned it into a wrestling fan because he's already thinking about the storyline.
Why did I do this, Jay? I love it. That's what we like to see. You're going to be saying that a lot more. So currently the ages for all 3 of these men. AJ Styles is 44, going to be 45 in June.
Yeah.
Samoa Joe 43. He just turned 43 a couple days ago, so happy belated birthday. And Christopher Daniels. It's his birthday on Thursday. He'll be 52 years old.
Damn, Christopher Daniels. Let me ask you. Now I know that Styles is still in wrestling. I know Christopher Daniels is still in wrestling. But I don't know much about Samoa Joe. Is he still wrestling or is he retired?
He is a free agent. So he was with TNA for many years. Then he went to WWE. Then he got released. Then he went back. Then he got released. Then he went back again. And then he got released one more time. He's been kind of hurt, nothing major. He had a neck injury for a while. Yeah. But I mean, I feel like he'll sign somewhere. I would hope so. He's still.
I heard he's going to sign a thing with WWE, and he's going to be a trainer.
Yeah. Because normally, once you're done with your in-ring career, you become a trainer, and I could definitely see that going on. I've always liked Samoa Joe. Also, Jay, big shout out. You're like AJ Styles because he is from Gainesville, Georgia.
Gainesville, Georgia. I've gone through Gainesville a couple of times in my life. That's where I believe. Florida University of Florida is in Gainesville, correct?
There's a Gainesville, Georgia. No, that's in Florida, right?
Oh, you're talking about Gainesville, Georgia.
Yeah, he's from Gainesville, Georgia.
There's also a Gainesville, Florida.
Yeah. No.
Which I think is where University of Florida is based out of.
Right. No, but he's from Georgia.
Okay, Gainesville, Georgia. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm about to say this. The more you know. Great match, like I said. Some people for the longest said this was probably one of the better or the best triple threat matches. A lot going on here. A lot of guys in their prime, looking good, and have throw a different company at you. We've shown you, Jay. You've seen ECW, you've seen TNA, you've seen WCW, WWE, WWF, and also GCW the other week. And we've shown you a lot in a couple of weeks, Jay. WrestleMania is around the corner.
Yes, it is.
April. Since Frankie's not here, we can go ahead and spoil it for all the listeners, all the viewers. We are bringing back our boy, independent wrestling legend, T. Ray Watford is coming back on the show after about a year away. We'll see how many titles he's been winning out there in the Texas area and see what he's been up to. He's going to come watch the show with us. We're not sure what day yet. It's going to be Saturday or Sunday, how long he'll be here for. So if you have any questions for Mr. Watford, throw them in the comments. We'll be sure to ask him. Jay, I'm sure, is going to ask him a whole lot more this time around now that Jay's more involved in the wrestling world than he was last time we had him on. And it's going to be fun. Like I said, you'll see AJ Styles, Jay, at WrestleMania against Edge.
Yeah, folks. So this has pretty much been our show. I will say this, a couple of final thoughts as we go around the horn for final thoughts. My final thought is Zadarius Smith, who, as you know, left the Packers, outside linebacker that left the Packers, went to Baltimore Ravens and was basically going to sign with them and then pulled a Randy Gregory and flipped the script and winds up signing with the Vikings. So, question, guys. We know that the Vikings brought in a new head coach. We know that the Vikings –
GM too.
Yeah, and a GM too. I apologize. And a GM too. We know the Vikings still have Kirk Cousins, which is a viable quarterback. They have obviously good in Thielen and Jefferson and so forth. They have a good wide receiving core. They have a damn good running back in Dalvin Cook. Now they are improving their defense with Zadarius Smith. How do you guys view, real quick, before we get out of here, before we go to final thoughts, how do you guys view the Vikings now going into preseason and into the actual regular season? How do you think it's going to change the Vikings' future?
I think it's a good start. I mean, obviously it's a fresh start with new GM, new head coach, new regime. You got Kirk Cousins still holding it down at quarterback. You got Kellen Mond. That might be your franchise after Kirk retires or whatnot. So I mean, it looks great. I mean, they've got a really good core. They got Jefferson. They've got a really good running back. They've got some pieces. And like you said, getting Smith definitely adds to it. They could have a pretty good year this year, all in all. And then what did you think about this, Chris? How do you think the Vikings are going to do?
I'd love to move of Smith going there because that was the Vikings' weakest thing was their defense. They tightened up that defense. They tightened up their defense. They're going to be in games because Kirk Cousins, a capable quarterback, and they got some weapons. If the running back Cook can stay healthy,
Right.
Vikings could be a dangerous team if they can get that defense figured out. And I think Smith will be an important piece in helping that.
And then we got some free agency news. So we got Teron Armstead reaches a 5-year deal with the Miami Dolphins. Armstead was formerly with the Saints, and he was responsible for holding up a lot of their cap space. But definitely one of the better offensive linemen in football. So a big get for Miami. That tells me that they're going to keep it with Tua, at least for probably this season. And, I mean, I never understood all the big trade value, whatever. I mean, you just drafted him not too long ago. I would at least keep it going for at least a couple more seasons. So I think now is kind of the proving test is now we're getting you a better offensive line. I mean, they could definitely even beef that up with the draft upcoming soon. So I like the move there from Miami. The Buccaneers, Leonard Fournette's coming back 3 years, 21. I feel like, guys, he was a very underrated part of their championship victory. Because once he was let go from the Jaguars, he just got like a second life pretty much. And he's always been a good running back. But he's very reliable. And they got him on a cheap deal too. I mean, 3 years for $21 million, that's only $7 million a year. That ain't nothing. I mean,
for a player like Fournette.
I think everyone on that team's okay with taking some pay cuts if you're playing with Tom Brady for at least one more go round. So I can see why he went back. And then we talked a little bit about it earlier, but he said Julio Jones rejoining Matt Ryan, or do you think Brady could talk him into joining the Bucs? Because those are kind of the two teams that's kind of been floating around. And then Chris, do you want Julio, or do you think you go to the Bucs?
I don't know. I'm torn about it because if Julio's healthy, I mean it's Julio Jones.
Right.
I don't discount Julio right now, honestly. I still think Julio still has something left in the tank. I don't know if it's a lot, but I still think Julio, if you get him on a vet minimum, I think he can still give you something.
I mean, his numbers have dipped the last couple of seasons. Like I said, he's been hurt. I mean, last year, 31 catches, under 500 yards, only one. I mean, that wasn't nothing. And then
let's be honest, Matt Ryan and Julio Jones connection, you already got that.
That's one of the better pairings in NFL history, honestly. Yeah. So, I mean, he had like 7 straight years of over 1,000 yards. That's incredible. I know he's never really going to be one to get you a bunch of touchdowns because he gets double teamed every play. But whenever he gets an open space, or especially now because he is 33, obviously he's a little bit slower. Injuries have banged him a little bit, but he's definitely still a capable and a very good wide receiver as long as he's on the field and healthy. So
I think, look, you know what though? I think you bring Julio Jones in on a $5 million 1-year deal with another $5 million in incentives, which could balloon to $10 million if he reaches certain benchmarks.
I would be good with that. I feel like 1 to 2 years is what he would get. I don't see a team taking more than that just because he is a little bit older. And as we've seen, typically wide receivers who get older, the majority, right? They tend to fall off. So you just have a big contract on your salary. So I could see 1 or 2 years for a cheap deal. Maybe like you said, Jay, $5 million, maybe $7 million, right, for each season. Nothing.
Throw some incentives in there.
Nothing too crazy. Yeah, like I said, throw some incentives. Mostly just for snaps played, I would think at this point.
Exactly.
Catches, I wouldn't worry about touchdowns a whole lot because he's got one of the best hands in the league. He's, like I say, still a very valuable wide receiver. I think he could work if he's healthy. He could work on the Colts, and like I said, if the Buccaneers, you need someone to kind of replace that Antonio Brown 3rd, 4th option, whatever. I mean, I wouldn't mind it.
No, I wouldn't mind it at all one bit.
I think he would thrive in either of those systems as long as he's healthy. That's all I'm saying.
And just to answer this question, there's no way that they're going to bring Julio Jones to Tampa because I think they're kind of already solidified there, and I don't think that Julio is necessarily going to make that kind of a difference with them any more than he did with the Titans. I think Julio needs just to go where he can be a number one and prove that he still can be a number one and get him at the cheap number one price and let him show you what he can do. And if it doesn't work out, no big deal. You just cut him, save yourself a few $1 million, and you're good to go. Real quick, Before we get out of here, I do want to ask you guys one more question because it was brought up, and I didn't bring it up, but I think it's a good thing to bring up. Leonard Fournette does sign back with Tampa Bay at 3 years, $21 million. Is it just me, or did they get him at a super cheap deal?
Yeah, like I said, Jay, they got him at a bargain price because I think all those guys are taking pay cuts to play with Brady for at least one more year. So I'm cool with it, like I said, because he was a big part in their championship in 2020.
So the real question is, where's Gronk?
I feel like waiting. I feel like we'll get closer to training camp, and we'll see. Yeah, because I feel like he is going to come back. He hasn't retired, so obviously he's going to come back. It would blow my mind if he went somewhere else. I don't see it happening. So 2 options: A, he's coming back for probably a year, or B, he's going to call it quits. So
I think he just keeps tagging along with Brady. As long as Brady comes back, he comes back.
So the Fournette deal includes $11 million guaranteed, and it could reach 24 with incentives. I'm assuming snaps, yards, touchdowns, any of those 3.
Yeah, I'm sure he got some $1 million is pretty damn cheap.
And I feel like once he saw the incentives, he's like that because incentives motivate players. That makes you want to play better. So, that's a good deal. You have more money in incentives than you do your actual deal. So, I'm good with that. Like I said, they've solidified their running back for the next couple of seasons. So, good for Tampa.
What do you think about the Fournette deal, Gonzo? Before we get out of here, what is your opinion on the Fournette deal?
I'm going to choke him. Oh, no,
I love that dog, by the way. He's so
awesome. I think Fournette, I think Tampa Bay made a real good deal with getting him. They got him at a cheap price, and like Logan said, he's been a big part of that team. They trust him more than they do Ronald Jones in big spots of games. Because Jones had some fumbling issues. I think it was a great move to solidify your running back position and keep him Fournette. I think he came back because Brady came back, and that's why he came back on a cheap deal.
Right.
He might have went and tried to get more money if Brady would have stayed retired.
Because he was interviewing with New England there for a minute.
Yeah, I feel like that would have been a good move for New England. That really would have. Because who was their running back? Does anyone know?
It was Harris. Harris was New England's running back.
Yeah, I feel like unless he signed somewhere else, I'm not too sure. But you could probably still get away with him for another year, maybe 2.
Because honestly,
he's not a bad back. I don't think. I know he played.
No, he's not because look. He's not a bad back. That's my point. In the regular season, he had 180 attempts at 812 yards. He averaged 4.5 yards, and then he also caught 69 passes for almost 500 yards. So he's almost
he had 15 touchdowns last year too. I didn't know that. Yeah, so yeah,
he's very much like an Alvin Kamara type guy who can get you not only runs on the ground, but also can get you the catch out of the backfield as well and get you 1,400 yards at that position.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, I like the deals though. I like them, and we'll see how they can prosper this upcoming season. All right.
Damn, I wish the Dallas Cowboys would have traded Zeke for that bullshit. Pardon my French.
Hey, Dallas signed a punter today.
Yeah.
Anger is such a perfect name.
The NFC East champs are making big moves.
Bro, no, we're not. Look, we've lost a lot. We've gained little.
He said, also the Jerry Jones like that. That's just a nostalgia move. I forgot James White was in the league.
As you can see, we have come to the end of the show. You know how we know this? Because they are talking crap about the Cowboys, and I look severely depressed now.
I'm going to say, Jay, it almost took us 2 hours, but we couldn't stay away for too long.
Hey, listen, I get it. Hey, folks, final thoughts are pretty much, don't forget Wrestlemania is April 2nd, April 3rd. Please join the Unscripted crew. Gonzo will be there. T-Ray Watford will be there, the wrestler. And Frankie the Yankee will be there. Just all kinds of Chris Robinson, I think, is going to be there. So forth. It's going to be a good time with a lot of match. Huh?
Jay's going to be plastered drunk after the first match.
Hey, listen. Jay is reformed. I am an AA, sir. I am no longer drinking. But anyway, having said that, no, listen. It is a good time to be alive, and don't forget. This coming Thursday and this Saturday, I will be out of town moving the last little bit of crap I have to move so I can get back to my normal life. And you will be joined by Logan Landers, Gonzo, and I think Dustin Stat Guy might make an appearance. So those two guys will be leading the next two shows. They're going to do a phenomenal job because they are highly, highly entertaining, and they do a good job every time they come on this show. And we appreciate them more than you know. And we appreciate John Suggs, who commented quite profusely on our show.
Hey, John hung out with us for 2 hours.
Hey, Jay, we'll throw this up here, Jay. Since he's been with us so long, we'll throw these. John, you always put in the last minute we're leaving, you put some comments in. We'll get to them right now. He said, thoughts on the women's NCAA tournament. NC State or UNC win the whole thing? Just quick one answers. I'll go North Carolina.
What was the question again?
I'm going North Carolina.
North Carolina State or North Carolina? Who will win the whole thing, Jay? Real quick.
Oh, you know who I thought. Who do you think I got, Logan?
North Carolina State. To screw us over.
No, Houston, damn it.
That's not a question, Jay. That's not the women's NCAA. That's what he's asking.
Oh, he's asking about the women's. I apologize. I'm still stuck on men's. The women's, no. Now, on the women's side, I do have North Carolina. Yes.
Okay, there we go. We're all in agreement. Thank you, John, for all of your comments tonight. Do you need a hug or something? You've been with us for 2 hours. I don't know how, but, I mean, we applaud you anyways. But thank you so much.
By the way, one last thing, and it's been all over social media. It's been over the Facebook. It's been everywhere. If you had the same genitalia as me, and you want to go compete in women's swimming, and you feel good about winning in women's swimming, knowing that you're 492 or 452 in men's, you may want to rethink your life if you feel good about that win. I'm just going to say that. Anybody else feel differently about that? Please speak now.
I feel the same.
Okay, folks. Until Thursday, we appreciate each and every one of you. John Suggs, we love you. Everybody else, man, we hope to see you here on Thursday. Until next time, it's your boys at Unscripted, and we're out of here. Peace out, deuces.
Whole sports, all plays. Whole sports, all plays. Whole sports, all plays. 365, we're making up plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same.